Hello there, adventurers. So we camped out in Sidling Hill State Forest last night at a motorized campsite. Very peaceful and some great dark skies. Unfortunately, even though we were camped on a drivable trail and there was no vehicular traffic on this road, it is sandwiched between the turnpike and Pennsylvania State Route 30. So you did hear, and as you can hear now, some traffic noise. But other than that, it was a beautiful day. Try to get over here in the shade so the sun quits blinding us. Just wanted to take you on a morning walk down this drivable trail. So, you know, sometimes hiking a trail, you kind of get into some bushes and jaggers and stuff. But often, if you get onto a drivable trail, you don't really run into that because you're basically on a road, but it's not gravel and it's not traveled. Very rarely are they. So it's also the start of leaf peeping season. If you're familiar with that, that basically just means you're going to go somewhere and watch the colors change on the trees. So we had a very, very dry summer, and we just recently got some rain, and the color change went from getting pretty drastic to slowing down to almost getting some green back. If you're from Pennsylvania and you like to hike, bike, or travel in 4x4 vehicles, I highly suggest getting out to Buchanan State Forest. We've got numerous vistas that you've seen in my other videos. You know, you can drive right up to them. A lot of them are on regular forest roads, so you can drive right up to them in your car. But I always suggest bringing a 4x4 high clearance vehicle if you have one, because then you can get onto roads like this. And it's hard to see in the video, but that steep, that's a rise and a fall right there. Your regular sedan's not going to go up over that. But your pickup or SUV, it will. Interesting thing about this area of Buchanan is you run into a lot of sand. And in that sand, you can see my truck tire, only one. And there's someone else's truck tire from a while ago. Hey, might even be mine from when I come scouted it. And of course, if you look real close, you can see deer tracks. And here, this is a little one there, if you can see it on the TV. Yeah. So I just wanted to take you on a morning hike, just a short one. There is some color change. You can see it in some of the trees. Beautiful blue sky. It got perfect temperature last night. We just had our sleeping bags. They're not even our winter ones. They're probably like a 40-degree bag or something. And we were more than comfortable. So, another thing, a lot of people get out and or I shouldn't say get out. A lot of people say they want to get out and they can't never find anywhere to go because they try to go to the populated areas. Wow, I'm having a hard time talking. Well, sometimes you might want to travel that one extra hour and get to a place where nobody really goes. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why you'd want to go where nobody really goes. And there's a tree getting some of its yellow very, very good. Some red behind it. And Buchanan State Forest is definitely that place. I reserved on Thursday. The only reason why I reserved on Thursday is because I decided that day that I wanted a specific site, and I reserved it. I could have literally reserved it yesterday before we left home. Well, before noon, because you do have to reserve the sites before noon on the days that you leave. Boy, I'm all scatterbrained. That's the problem with taking a hike with me. More little deer tracks or truck track in the sand. Like I said, you don't see sand very often in Pennsylvania State Forest. Now, people that go to New Jersey to the Pine Barrens, I guess that's pretty much all you're seeing. So it's always interesting to see the different things you see. Here's kind of a clearing. When we drove in last night, there were 3 deer here and 6 deer in our campsite. So definitely some wildlife. Definitely a good place to go. So back to what I was saying. So you reserve before noon the day you come. There's even ways to get around that by contacting the ranger station or a ranger. Get into that in another video. I think I've described it in other videos. If you're in my Facebook group, I talk about it often. So yeah, it's just, none of these campsites were reserved. Not one, not even the popular ones over by the abandoned turnpike, which in theory I'm right beside also, just a little bit harder to get to. So yeah, even those ones that are over by the CCC camp and the railroad tunnel and the abandoned turnpike tunnel, nobody was in them. You can't beat this weather. It's finally, my opinion, because I'm a more insulated person. This is the best camping weather. It gets hot during the day. Just when the bugs start to drive you nuts, it gets cold at night. They go away. It's great. I can't describe enough how wonderful this time of year is for camping and hiking and just adventuring in general. Like I said, you don't have to. Here we are again. My truck tracks in the sand, some deer tracks. The leaf litter. So, the leaves are falling, and that's mainly because of the drought. Because they really haven't, if you look around, like right now, nothing's really changed much. You got some leaves that are changing, but here's, if I can get this one in, there's a pretty good color change there. So sorry for being scatterbrained. If you're following along on any of my videos, you already know this. But another thing, hunting season has started. I believe archery come in yesterday. You need orange in the woods. Once you get to rifle season, it is mandatory that you have orange in hunting areas in Pennsylvania. Right now it's kind of a suggestion, but highly recommend having orange in your pack or in your vehicle. And not only does that alert hunters to you, it alerts other hikers to you. If you would have a injury or an incident on the trail, search and rescue, they're going to really enjoy whenever they hear the person's last known clothing was a bright orange shirt and a bright orange hat. Because whenever someone says, oh yeah, he's dressed in green or brown, tan, yeah, that's going to make them finding you a little bit harder. So wear your orange when you're out. So this campsite here is Sidling Hill 21. And like I said, it's on a drivable trail. If you do not know what a drivable trail is, it's an unmaintained road in essence. But it's basically hiking for your truck. So you aren't bringing your typical RV camper back here. I would suggest only bringing your tent set up. But if you have an off-road short wheelbase camper, you can probably make it over the water bars and the rises and falls in this road. It is steep, so if you are towing a trailer, this whole area is steep. So if you are hauling a trailer, you are going to want to have a vehicle that is matched perfectly to it. Because if you're towing something too big with too small of a tow vehicle, going up the hill, it's going to be rough. Coming down, going around these sharp turns, it could be dangerous. So keep that in mind. I'm just past the 10-minute mark on this video. So here, like I said, scatterbrained, I apologize, but here's something like, obviously the water runs down here, and you can see right here, if it shows up on the video at all, with the leaf litter. When I come in here last night, and you've seen my truck, it's a Ram 2500. It's got 33-inch tires from the factory, solid front axle. That's not going to cause me an issue. It's going to make my wife and my son bounce, and if they're asleep, they'll wake up and I'll get yelled at. But if you are in a car, that's going to cause you issue. You're going to sink in that, rip your oil pan on that, and not going to be a good day for you. So always have a map when you go somewhere, not just for hiking, but for driving. Don't rely on Google. It's not going to get you where you want to go. It'll get you somewhere, but it ain't going to get you where you want to go. Drivable trails are a parallel dashed line. Although, not to be mistaken with an administrative road, which is a parallel dashed line with a gate. And guess what? Drivable trails also have a gate. So you got to know if the road's open. You got to look, do a little bit of scouting with maps and with local knowledge. Like I said, the campsites, a lot of people think you can camp for free anywhere, and you cannot. You have to have a reservation and pay the fee, $10 for resident, $15 for non. And the love-hate $6.50 Reserve America fee, which, makes your one night stay $16.50, but every stay after is only $10. So, 2 nights would be $26.50, 3 nights would be $36.50. You only pay that once, but you pay it every time you reserve a campsite. So I'll end the video here. As soon as I show you the drivable trail sign, so you can see even the entrance to here is rough. Like I said, your typical car is not going to enjoy this. As a matter of fact, I would be remiss to try to tell you that you could. Hey, there's my tracks again. Like I said, there's nobody else out here. Nobody. So here's your regular forest road you come in on, Jerry Road. It's gravel. For the most part, any vehicle besides a lowrider will make it down a regular forest road. Every once in a while, there's a little bit of a curve. So that's why I always say to have your high clearance at least, but 4x4, you never know. If you come into this road and let me get my finger in here. If you come down and you would happen to get right here in a 2-wheel drive vehicle, you're not going to make that little bit of a turn. You're going to have to put it in 4-wheel drive to make that turn. You're not stuck, but if you're in 2-wheel drive, you're going to have to try to back up. And you can see the drainage ditch on the side. If it's raining, that sand that's there, those are loose rocks. They'll spin right underneath your tires. So 4x4 is a good idea. Anyways, thanks for coming along on this morning hike. This is your drivable trail sign. This right here is your snowmobile sign. These are the fun ones. This is like hiking for your truck. It's what overlanders seek out. It's what, enthusiasts seek out. And it's what people like myself who just want to get away seek out. Beautiful forest, sun shining in through the trees. Beautiful blue sky. Like I said, the night sky last night was great. There's a falling leaf. There's an airplane. If I can get it into view. I don't know. Oh, there it is. All right. Well, thanks for coming along. I appreciate it. Please join in for all my videos. Try to make them simple and to the point. Not a lot of fluff. Try to teach you something and just get you out into the forest. And as always, I hope to catch you in the forest.